I got you this Virgin Mary necklace to protect your innocence.
Stupid man. We have loved each other since high school, and now you want to turn your back on me? All the plans we made, you just throw them away? And you want Nambi now? When I've always been there for you, Ziwa, do you understand? And she doesn't even love you. I wasted my time on someone like you.
Don't be like that, Jalia.
Love, everybody needs it. Love.
International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
Good evening, I'm Maggie Forciero. In the news tonight, some investigations take long because of insufficient evidence, says Noah. Ngoshi bikers reach out to female inmates. Christmas lights brighten up city streets. And round up Business on One, comments corner, sports and the weather. The Director General of the Anti-Corruption Commission ACC, Paulus Noah, says certain cases take a long time to resolve due to a lack of evidence and to the nature of the claims, which may not be enough to warrant a complete investigation.
The ACC's Director General stated at the event that certain cases, such as the infamous fish rod scandal, in which high-ranking politicians and businessmen are accused of receiving millions of dollars in bribes from Samheri, one of Iceland's largest international fishing companies, in exchange for access to Namibia's lucrative fishing quotas, may take time to resolve because the people the ACC should obtain evidence from may be involved in the case.
Sometimes Anti-Corruption Commission is presented with evidence, not really evidence, but suspicion. But the suspicion may not be sufficient enough to mount a full investigation. Through preliminary investigation, you find the investigation not making a progress because the people from whom you should obtain relevant information for you to make a progress might be conflicted in the very same investigation. They might be implicated. We have seen this when we started way back with the investigation on the allegation of quota allocations. NAMSOF was coming to ACC, but they're just coming because they had certain interest in some of the quota that were taken away from them. And they feel that quotas are now being allocated to non-right holders. As we are getting into the nitty-gritty, no one wanted to tell us that there was serious corruption or bribery going on, because at that time, the very same people were whining and dining on the same table with those who are today as a suspect in this piece of matter. You know about this. And the nation out today was of the view that the Anti-Corruption Commission is keeping the investigation under the carpet, which has never been the case.
Various government, civil society and media representatives were in attendance to commemorate the United Nations International Anti-Corruption Day. John Nakuta, the media ombudsman, advised the ACC to establish coalitions with the media and to proactively promote access to information during a panel discussion aimed at gathering expert opinions on how stakeholders in Namibia may successfully contribute to the fight against corruption.
If the ACC can begin to institutionalize, build this coalition with journalists that goes beyond just having a press release here and there, but make it sustainable, make it long-term, and build a partnership. And lastly, any partnership is also having this notion of access to information. A partner does not withhold information. So the ACC is therefore called upon to proactively disclose information.
One of the other recommendations made to the ACC and the Justice Ministry at the event was to implement legislation such as the Whistleblowers Protection Act, which was tabled in 2017 to complement the work of the ACC by promoting an effective anti-corruption environment and protecting people who report and give evidence on cases of corruption.
Did you know COVID-19 vaccines may not only prevent you from getting seriously sick? Vaccines allows your body to fight the virus well before an infection occurs. This greatly increases your chances of not getting seriously ill when infected. The government provides COVID-19 vaccines for free, and they are safe for people aged 18 years and older, including those with pre-existing conditions. Remember, it is important to go for both doses of the vaccine to make sure you are fully protected.
So, get vaccinated. Help keep COVID-19 out of Namibia.
This message was brought to you by the Nationhood and National Pride Program in partnership with the Ministry of Health and Social Services.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m., you can stay true to Namibia Sounds with the Valentine's True Music Sessions. Only on 99 FM. Stay tuned. Stay true. There's no wrong way. Valentine's. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
And welcome to the She Word, the show where we discuss trending topics amongst women across Africa. Girl, 7 years old. Do you know why you're here?
In 1997, I was filmed by an American news crew at the place I was being held. A shrine run by a priest dedicated to the worship of deities. I was labeled a triple she, a wife of the gods, paying for a crime committed by a family member.
Okay. The purpose of sharing my story was to say, you know, you may have gone through something, a traumatic experience. You are still able to have life. You have life. You can live life. You can contribute to society, and that's what it should be about. It's not more. It's not really about like victimizing because I honestly don't like watching it.
In remembrance of International Human Rights Day, the Ngoshi Bikers Club and its sister clubs held a Christmas charity run for female inmates at the Vintu Correctional Facility as a way to remind them that they are still part of society.
The charity run commenced with a procession through the Independence Avenue to Katutura, closing off with the handover of 110 hampers of daily necessities to the Windu Correctional Facility. Chairperson of the Ngoshi Bikers Club at the occasion pointed out the right to dignity that all people are entitled to, adding that the club chose to assist female inmates as their needs outweigh those of their male counterparts.
One of those rights is the right to dignity. Now, the right to dignity entails that you as a human being must be treated with the necessary respect that you deserve as a human being. Now, in Namibia, that right is enshrined in Chapter 3 of the Namibian Constitution, where it is clearly stated that all Namibians shall have the right to dignity. The basic idea is that when people are incarcerated, they have got very much little control of what is happening around them. But the needs are there. We cannot dispute that. Now, your average person might think that why should we spoil people who are incarcerated? They must feel that they are in jail. They deserve to be punished and they deserve to feel the roughness of the law. But we are saying no, they are our sisters, they are our brothers. When they came out of there, they must still feel that this nation, this great nation, is for them. And that is the idea. We then reach out to the sister clubs and to the other riders that we ride together, because biking is about family. So what you have here today is not just a Moshi Bikers Club. You have got CC riders, you have got Saint Vest riders, you have got people who ride alone like Madam Lane, Mr. Graham, all the people that we always ride together. So we all came together to just team up and donate these items in conjunction with the Namibian Correctional Services.
Miriam Madimba, Deputy Commissioner in charge of mental health and special needs at the Namibian Correctional Service, remarked that upon release back into society, community and family support is crucial in facilitating successful reintegration of ex-prisoners.
This individual who we have provided such rehabilitative activities or programs to address their risk will have to come back into the society, right? So for them to successfully reintegrate, they'll need the support from their family. They'll need organization to provide them an opportunity to get a job. So those are the things that we're talking about, that we cannot do this on our own. We need everyone, organization, family members, and the lesser stigma they receive in the community, again, the more they are likely to cease from criminal activity. So that's what we are talking about. We all need each other to ensure that there is successful rehabilitation and also successful reintegration.
The Deputy Commissioner General receiving the donation expressed appreciation for the gesture, noting that rehabilitation will not be possible if incarcerated persons are forgotten once in prison. Bishop Lucas Katenda, also at the occasion, applauded the biker groups for their careful consideration of female inmates.
If there is a weak link, then we cannot talk about rehabilitation. And what makes it strong for us now today is that we are making the link stronger. Because these offenders here has to go back to society from where we are. And the moment that we just, when they are sentenced, forget about them, then we are not going to talk about rehabilitation. We need to help each other to make a success of this whole story. We hope that the rest of the organizations out there will see what you are doing and join hands with us to make a success of rehabilitation.
You can imagine a person who is in a correctional service, whether they get what they want or what they prefer, under those conditions and the security arrangements, obviously not everything will be met as that they will need. And therefore, your carefully thought idea to come up with these puzzles, as we can see, there are sanitary pads there and also some items. It is a helpful exercise. Most of the time, we don't think in those lines. And I just wish that all of our people in the society can think, even of small girls, school girls, in these lines. Otherwise, some of our girls may not be going to school because they do not have a sanitary pad. Some are using toilet papers and so on and so forth. So this is something that we must commend the Moshi Bakers Club, just to think in that particular line.
The city of Windhoek recently held the annual Christmas lights switching on ceremony, a tradition that kickstarts the festive season for all residents.
The mayor of Windhoek recently officiated the Christmas lights switching on ceremony held at the City of Windhoek headquarters in the capital. Shade governors at the event said that the past year was busy for the council amidst the COVID-19 pandemic, with calls from residents for effective and efficient services, which she says will be top of her priorities.
In keeping with our annual tradition, To kickstart the festive season, I am honored to officiate tonight's Christmas light switching on ceremony here in the city centre. This past year has been an exceptionally busy year for Council amidst the COVID-19 pandemic and the prevailing call from residents to render effective and efficient services and access to affordable land and housing. We entered 2021 in a season of new beginnings, a new leadership, indeed a coalition, a new discourse that sought to empower residents, broker strategic partnerships with the Friends of Windhoek, fight corruption and render friendly, fair, simple, fast, and effective services to our residents, especially when it came to housing and land delivery. This year has also been a year of learning, storming, adapting, and navigating through a very complex organization and relationships.
She further stated that the past year was filled with many challenges for the council, which span from political, administrative to leadership process, but would like to urge residents to keep calm, renew their faith, and spend time with loved ones during the festive season.
As we prepare to travel and make merry, let us not forget our humanity. As a nation, we have a long road ahead of us towards improving the quality of life for the residents of Windhoek. We have come this far, and the opportunity for new beginnings is upon us. It is up to us to pave the way into the new year and to do so with kindness, care, and a collective purpose of serving one another.
Governors further urged residents to be cautious this festive season as they prepare to travel for the holidays.
Nothing is too good for my daughter. Now here's the deal, Nambi. There's no playing around with other boys before your wedding. Do you understand me? It's the most important day of your life.
Nambi, baby, you have a face like a beautiful person. I got you this Virgin Mary necklace to protect your innocence.
Stupid man. We have loved each other since high school, and now you want to turn your back on me? All the plans we made, you just throw them away? And you want Nambi now? When I've always been there for you, Ziwa, do you understand? And she doesn't even love you. I've wasted my time on someone like you.
Don't be like that, Jalia.
Love, everybody needs it. Love.
In other leading stories, FNB through the First Rand Namibia Foundation reaffirmed their commitment to change with an amount of 432,600 Namibia dollars for the coming year at the recent graduation ceremony held in Windhoek. Thomas Linji, FNB Head of Commercial Mid-Touch Segment and Cluster, says the bank is proud to be part of a program that empowers people to be creative, productive and entrepreneurial, adding that they recognize that the programs run by Change offer a second chance to ex-offenders and others who desire to take up the challenge of building a new future for themselves and their families. He further added that the training assists people to support themselves and that this brings economic, psychological and social benefits. New perspectives and new learning uplifts people, enables them to make a difference in their own lives, and inspires others to be the change they want to see. Jean Shiketa Shinyerere, director at Change, noted that they are grateful for the support they receive from FNB as it allows them to continuously give skills, training to their target groups of ex-offenders and the disadvantaged members of our community. Change is involved in uplifting Namibian communities and contributing to economic and social development by reintegrating offenders into society. Amongst its various courses, it provides a fashion design and tailoring program together with business training.
More than ever before, football fans demand unique insight and analysis. The Football Review is much more than a highlights show. Bold, provocative editorial that goes beyond conventional reporting, setting the agenda for football discussion. Champions League, Premier League, La Liga, Serie A, Bundesliga, Liga 1, and much more. Want genuine insight with hard-hitting editorial? Need compelling premium football content? The Football Review. Best, bar none.
Win free airtime with hashtag #LearnOn1. Share your comments on the lessons. SMS your feedback, name and town to 555. Hashtag #LearnOn1. Invite learning in.
Joseph Shifeni is standing by for this evening's edition of Business on One.
Business on One is proudly brought to you by the Government Institutions Pension Fund.
Welcome to Business on One. I'm your host, Joseph Shifeni. The Bank of Namibia predicts a positive growth for the domestic economy heading into 2022 after months of improved activity in key sectors of the economy. However, uncertainties still remain in light of the Omicron variant and its potential impact.
The Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, Ebson Uwanguta, says the 3.3% projection comes as activity in sectors such as tourism that performed poorly last year picked up in 2021.
Going forward, the domestic economy is expected to grow by 1.5% in 2021 and to move also to 3.3% in 2022. But there are still risks on the horizon that may also upset that outlook in a medium term. And those risks, of course, hovers around the COVID-19. If the Omicron variant and possibly other variants that may break out in the future are not well contained, and the citizens, we do not do what we are supposed to do to take responsible decisions. Certainly, some of those the Omicron variants and others may have some kind of serious implications on the economy. Domestic economic activities, as we have seen during the first 10 months of the year, slowed. There has been some kind of slowed. Again, we have seen that there has been some kind of activity has slowed down quite significantly. But during the first 10 months, we have seen some kind of a number of activities that has also picked up. The increase in economic activities that we have seen was observed in some of the key major sectors, such as mining, wholesale and retail, communication, as well as tourism. You may recall, like tourism in last year, it almost contracted by close to 70%. So clearly this year is not yet at the level where we have seen it in 2019, but definitely there is some kind of improvement. On the contrary, activity in the construction sector, manufacturing, agriculture, and transport have still continued to display some weaknesses over the same period.
On the global front, a slowdown is projected after strong growth in the first quarter of 2021 by most financial institutions.
Most of the institutions, including the International Monetary Fund, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, and World Bank project the global economy that it will rebound in 2021. But of course, also continue to expand, although at a slower pace in the year 2022, which is next year. In particular, the IMF has also projected the global economy to grow by 5.9% in 2021 and by 4.9% in 2022. The four institutions that I have mentioned all expect the recovery to remain uneven across different regions, partly because vaccinations campaigns are proceeding also at different paces around the globe.
Wanguta reiterated the government's stance that the expeditious rollout of COVID-19 vaccines and addressing vaccine hesitancy remain key to the extent, speed and sustainability of economic recovery.
Business on One was proudly brought to you by the Government Institutions Pension Fund.
And that is all we have for you. Be sure to follow us on our social media pages for more on the business front.
You've got to be anything, you should be everything. Strength provider, the architect of every ring. Experience penny years, see the face of God and live.
I pray to God for my enemy. Why you ready, when I did. Insta baby, Insta baby. Why you running? Everybody shake what your mama gave ya. Everybody move what your mama gave ya. Everybody shake what your mama gave ya. Everybody move, yet lost, fuck.
You are now watching the V10 Countdown.
Now we look at Comments Corner, your daily dose of comments from our social media pages. The Namibia Football Association, NFA, has been under scrutiny for years over unpaid remunerations to national players, coaches and technical staff. New complaints recently surfaced as some national players took to social media raising the same issue. The NFA did not provide a specific date on when the players can expect their payments, but has assured them that they will get what is owed to them in due course. Kevin says whoever is paying the SG should stop doing it until the players are paid. Peter asks whether Cosmos is getting paid monthly. Mervyn wants to know who can fire those officials. August notes that it's a waste of time, adding that football in Namibia should be cancelled. That is all from Comments Corner. Be sure to post your comments on our social media pages for broadcast only on Today on One.
Dink jy sy het nog steeds abandonment issues?
Is moontlik.
Al ons moeite met die sprokies. Ek probeer so hard om my kind gelukkig te maak, maar ek kry dit nie reg nie.
Probeer net help, dis al.
Jy doen niks sonder bymotiewe nie.
So jy hou van die tattoo?
Nee. Maar jy kan nie liefde koop nie. En beslis nie myne nie.
Jou regular.
Am I that predictable?
Jy is 'n gereelde klant en ons net so 'n manier om koffie te drink.
How do you like your coffee?
Gewoonlik swart sonder suiker.
Does black and bitter only pertain to your coffee preference?
Ek hou maar net van my koffie sonder melk.
Hoe gaan ek 'n bal raak slaan na 2 glase wyn?
That was part of my plan.
Wat? Om 'n tipsy te maak sodat jy kan wen.
I'm terrible with papa.
Connect in style with O Smartphone, Namibia's most affordable 4G handset. Enjoy high-speed connectivity to music, videos, and social media. Experience life on the 4G fast lane when you swap your 2G or 3G SIM for a free 4G SIM. Get it all for only $4.99 Namibian dollars, and you can make the connection with MTC.
Hi there, parents. Do you have primary school kids and want them to get extra quality supplementary lessons to up their grades? Then simply switch to One Africa TV's #LearnOnOne, where your kids can get maths, English and science lessons every weekday from 9 to 11 a.m. with repeats from 2 to 4 p.m. And thanks to NMH's MyZone, these lessons are 100% Namibian. There's so much to learn with #LearnOnOne. Invite learning in.
Every Saturday at 7 p.m., you can stay true to Namibia sounds with the Valentine's True Music Sessions. Only on 99 FM. Stay tuned. Stay true. There's no wrong way. Valentine's. Not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly.
Time now for a sports update with Castro Ulumbu.
Good evening and welcome to this new week of Sports on One. I'm your host Castro Ulumbu. The Namibian Volleyball Federation recently closed off their 2021 calendar year with its biggest event, the Bang Windhoek Volleyball Federation Cup, which took place in Oshana and the Rongo regions respectively. This year's event produced new champions in the male category, whilst rivals retained their title in the female category. Today on One Sports has more on this story. The final round of the Bang Windhoek Namibian Volleyball Federation Cup 2021, which was hosted in Walvis Bay, saw new champions in the men's category when the Namibia Correctional Service Volleyball Club from Ondangwa successfully defeated the Namibia Defence Force by 3-1. Defending champions in the women's category, Revival Volleyball Club showed why they are the queens of the game as they defeated arch-rival Skudos with a stunning 3-0. Rounding off the 2021 calendar year, the Secretary
General of the Namibian Volleyball Federation, Donald Faceb, described the cup as a success despite the disruption of the COVID-19 pandemic. Faceb further highlighted important appointments in 2021 as well as some of the Federation's key plans for 2022.
Of our structures, we are also really making sure that our positions are filled so that we can better implement our strategy, which is running from 2020 up to 2025. We also appointed Ms. Felicity Shehama as our legal director. Congratulations to her, and we are glad to have her on board. And she will be basically helping us look at our legal issues, because there's a lot of policy reform and constitutional reform that was done over the years. But now we need a legal mind to drive us in that direction. So volleyball is growing by leaps and bounds. Like I said, we are pushing for funding. We feel that right now we need to get volleyball to grassroots again. We need to inspire the little ones to get in there. We need to train administrators. We need to train coaches so that we can get these guys up and coming again, so that we can then feed into existing structures. Yeah, so that is the plan for Namibian Volleyball Federation moving forward.
At the finals, the Federation also received a financial boost of 16,000 Namibia dollars, courtesy of the Federation's patron, Honorable Helmut Angula, Walvis Bay Mayor, His Worship Trevino Forbes, and Erongo Governor, Honorable Neville Andre.
And that is all we had for you tonight. Join us again tomorrow for Sports on One, and don't forget to follow us on our social media pages.
Thanks a lot, Castro, for the latest in sports. Time now to take a look at the weather forecast.
Now a look at the weather forecast, but first an advisory from the Windhoek Met office. Cooler air is expected in the Karas region on Wednesday and Thursday. The interior will be partly cloudy and hot to very hot, with a few to isolated thunder showers in the north, the east and the extreme southwest. Elsewhere, sunny and hot to very hot. A fresh to strong southwesterly wind is expected over the southern half of the interior and the west. The coast will be partly cloudy and cool to warm. A few light showers are most likely over the central and southern coastal areas. Wind will be moderate to fresh northwesterly to southwesterly.
That is all we have for you. You can join us again for a repeat at 9:30 and 6 a.m. and the Omnibus Saturdays from 9 to 2. From me, Maggie Forciero, and the rest of the team, till next time, it's good night.
The International University of Management, a Namibian university dedicated to its people's future, a hub of abundant opportunities.
We are IUM for life. We are IUM.
To the Government Institutions Pension Fund, or GIPF, Unistrat Property Investment Development Site. Located in the Namibian town of Otjiwarongo, the Unistrat Property Investment Project is one of several investments made by GIPF through its special purpose vehicles in the unlisted investment sector. GIPF is a self-administered and defined benefit fund registered in terms of the Pension Fund Act 24 of 1956 to provide a retirement, death and ancillary benefits to Namibian government employees and participating institutions. GIPF's mission is to guard and to grow the fund for the benefit of its members. And one way through which this growth is achieved by GIPF is through careful selection of and investment in projects like this low-cost housing project spearheaded by Unistrat Property Investment.
My name is Fidel Ipumbu. I'm the Managing Director of Unistrat Property Investments. We are a small-sized property development company that was fortunate enough to be awarded a tender through public-private partnership with the municipality of Otjiwarongo. We began servicing land in 2017 and completed in 2018. In August 2019, we started with the housing construction.
Unistrat stands for Unity and Strategy, pillars of the company that are aimed at moving the local business forward. A total of 3 extensions, including Extension 12, are being developed by Unistrat Property Investments and consist of a high-income, middle-income and low-income extension.
My name is Otilia Alfius. I'm the Sales and Data Capture Officer at Unistrat Property Investment since 2016. We got funds for servicing Extension 12 from Inohari through GIPF. And most of our clients are getting their loan from First Capital through GIPF.
GIPF invested more than 17 million Namibian dollars into Unistrat Property Investments through the Namibia Infrastructure Fund, which is managed by Inno Harris Capital, into Extension 12 of the 3 extensions that are being developed. Through cross-subsidization, Unistrat Property Investment aims to make it affordable for landowners who fall in the middle to low income brackets to be able to purchase land and own a home to call their own.
The majority of the home buyers here are government employees, and we've used funds from GIPF through Inno Capital, the fund manager, and Development Bank of Namibia. So therefore, government is a large component of financing of this project in terms of land delivery. And in support of our government to deliver land at affordable rates, we are now standing at one of the locations that is evident of that fact that we can basically hold hands together with government and deliver land to the people as requested and as part of the manifesto as well. What we mean by cross-subsidization is where we have a low income and a middle income extension or land that is supported by a higher income extension. Therefore, it makes it affordable for the end user to actually acquire land and own a piece of land. And through this partnership with the municipality, we're able to enable a lot of home buyers to own land. As we all know, the cost of servicing is the same everywhere you go. So whether you do it here or in a different town, it's the same materials that go into the land. However, if you've got clients who cannot afford, you will need to structure a certain deal for them through cross-subsidization, which is exactly what we did here in Otjiwarongo.
A total of 64 houses are being built on the serviced land in Extension 12 with funding from GIPF. Several of these houses have already been completed and handed over to the proud new homeowners.
My name is Likezo Mwazi. I purchased my house through Unistrat Developers last year, 2019. I heard about their project through a colleague of mine at work. Then I approached their office because it was very approachable. Where the location where it's situated was very accessible. I then immediately did my application with them. All they needed was a home loan pre-approval from any bank, which I had, and an identity document. I applied with them and immediately got an approval. Construction of the house began mid-year 2019, and by the end of the year 2019, my house was completed successfully. Currently, I and my family are enjoying the house, and the whole process of the construction of the house went well, and we didn't encounter any major issues.
The number of staff employed by Unistrat Property Investment grew quickly as building of homes began following the servicing of land. While COVID-19 poses a challenge, the company is hopeful for the future.
At the beginning of the project, we had 15 employees in the office, and that was to administer the sales of the land. The moment that we started building houses, we employed a further 100 builders from within Otjiwarongo. We believed wholeheartedly that empowering the town will be part of our strategy moving forward, as it also helps to alleviate poverty and generate income for the locals.
Unistrat Property Investment continues passionately with its work. It continues with the servicing of land and building of houses in Extension 12, with particular focus on low-cost housing, made possible through GIBF's investment of more than 17 million Namibian dollars through the Namibia Infrastructure Fund, which is managed by Inno Harath Capital. It's an investment that will see more Namibians being able to afford land and a home.
Prevention is important. Help prevent the spread of illness and keep yourself and others well. Hand washing is one of the most effective ways of preventing the spread of germs. Wash your hands regularly with soap and hot water, scrubbing your hands thoroughly for at least 20 seconds. Hand sanitizers can be used but are not recommended as a substitute for hand washing. Use sanitizers in addition to hand washing or in a situation where soap and water are not available. To avoid spreading germs, limit sharing of personal items such as utensils, cups, and dishes. Your skin acts as a barrier to germs, but your eyes, nose, and mouth are more vulnerable. Wash your hands thoroughly before touching your face, eating, or drinking. Avoid physical contact with others, including handshakes, fist bumps, high fives, hugs, and kisses. Social distancing is deliberately increasing the physical space between people to avoid spreading germs. While regulations may vary by country or area, the best guideline for social distancing is to maintain a distance of 6 feet from others. Germs can travel through the air from one person to another. If you sneeze or cough, do so into a tissue or the inside of your elbow to prevent the spread of germs. Avoid contact with ill individuals and insist they isolate themselves until they have recovered and are symptom-free. Clean and sanitize frequently touched common surfaces and high-traffic areas in your home and workplace several times a day. Share these guidelines with others and help prevent the spread of illness and maintain a healthy environment. An ounce of prevention is worth a ton of cure.
We know the world is a crazy place right now, but don't panic. Take a breath, slow down, or better yet, stop completely. We'll still be here when everything settles down. In this time of uncertainty, look to nature. She has all the answers, you know. We're not only giving ourselves time to reset, we're giving nature time to restore, revive, restart. We're saving ourselves and we're saving the world. Stay home now so that we can welcome you to Namibia again soon. Yes, the world's a crazy place right now, but don't despair. Find the joy, cherish hope, breathe. Take a moment, take a few, and someday soon you'll once again be able to stare in wonder at this magnificent view. The world's a crazy place right now, but don't worry, we'll still be here. We'll see you again soon.
coronavirus that causes COVID-19 has changed since the pandemic started. So does this mean the virus has become more dangerous? Scientists have discovered thousands of mutations to the SARS-CoV-2 coronavirus. Most mutations only lead to small changes, but scientists believe one, called D614G, may have made it easier for the virus to infect human cells. This mutation most likely emerged after the initial outbreak in China, and it spread fast after the virus arrived in Europe. By the end of June, the D614G mutation was found in almost all samples of the virus worldwide. Scientists believe this is due to amino acid changes in the virus's spike proteins, improving its ability to infect human cells. Some studies have found more spikes on viruses with this mutation. These spikes latch onto receptors on the surface of our cells. They then transfer the virus's genetic material, called RNA, inside. Being inside the host cell allows the virus to make many copies of itself. Random errors sometimes happen in the copying process, which cause mutations. Although the full effects of D614G are still unclear, some studies suggest that the mutated virus might be more transmissible than the original. This could mean more people getting sick and at a faster rate. Despite this, there isn't any evidence that the disease itself has become more severe. Scientists are worried about mutations possibly increasing the risk of reinfection. Hong Kong reported what could be the first case of virus reinfection on the 24th of August. A healthy man in his 30s is thought to have caught the virus again 4.5 months after he first got sick. During this time, mutations developed and new variants of the virus emerged. Some experts believe these changes may have made reinfections more likely. Mutations are common over the course of a pandemic. New flu vaccines are needed every winter to keep up with genetic changes to the flu virus. If a coronavirus vaccine is found, it could require regular booster jabs. Mutations won't happen overnight, and the coronavirus is mutating slower than the flu virus. But it's important for scientists to keep a close eye on how the virus changes over time. Could we be hearing more about other mutations in the future?
The mighty Zambezi River, the longest east-flowing river in Africa, a river that flows through 6 countries, home to a plethora of wild species of fauna and flora, a lifeline for many people whose livelihoods are dependent on the abundance the river brings. Globally, communities who live along rivers rely on these rivers to survive. Communities living along the Zambezi call it the river of life, bringing water for their crops and fish as their main protein source. In Namibia, a country situated in sub-Saharan Africa, the Zambezi River sits at the heart of Kaza, the Kavango-Zambezi Trans-Frontier Conservation Area, which is one of the greatest conservation areas on Earth, a stronghold for very many of our most iconic wildlife.
I'm right now where the river forms the border between Namibia and Zambia. This enormous water body provides sustenance to a wide array of wildlife, bird and fish species. It's also a lifeline for human beings.
The same communities are the people also who are doing the illegal activities.
The price of fishing has gone up because fish has become scarce.
The more they finish, that's the more our life gets harder and harder.
These days, it is very rare to get a big bream unless in those protected areas.
A small group of community members, together with non-governmental organizations like Namibian Nature Foundation, are fighting back.
We have to start thinking out of the box, to be honest, because what's going to happen is going to be out of this box that we haven't seen before.
By creating protected areas, monitoring and patrolling, fish stocks have a chance at recovery. These are the stories of the people fighting for the continued existence of their communities. These are the last defenders.
Struggling with no food, no what. But we didn't stop. If I don't do it, our young children, they'll never know the fish.
Joseph Hartman was in and out of prison, dealing and doing drugs. Then a drug deal went wrong. Joseph was robbed, handcuffed, and scared straight out of the business. For 6 months, he roamed the streets as a homeless addict. Then one night, in a baseball dugout, Joseph met a stranger who totally changed his life.
I stand in awe of the power of the God who's our creator. And Terry and I sit here on this program, and the Lord speaks to us, and it's the word of knowledge. It's one of the manifestations of the Holy Spirit.
Something not always godly.
Not always, that's right. Well, there's a lot of negative voices out there, as we
Yes, there are.
And
so how do you know when it's God saying, Perry, I want to speak this to you right now?
And sometimes you don't know. And I think you pray over it, and you think about it, and sometimes you just, a lot of times I'll just envision, as you and I are talking here today, I may envision that I'm here talking with God, and how am I supposed to address this issue?
Okay? Realize Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever. He is the same for you right now. So let's pray. Let's call on his name and let him do the rest for you. Let's pray.
The song goes,
Benjamin Rosloff expresses himself with music, but when he's not playing the cello, he's making films.
My father bought me my first camera when I was 14 years old. My biggest dream is to be a filmmaker, like a producer or director.
Benjamin has already shown his films at festivals around the world.
The first film that I did, which was a documentary short, was called Can I Call You? It's about me trying to go in a relationship with someone who's non-disabled. Can I call you?
Yes. Ben is indeed a remarkable young man who has been living with autism from birth. He's a 23-year-old living in New York with his parents. Ben is not alone. 1% of the world's population, over 70 million people, is living with autism.
Some would refuse to let autistic people go to regular schools, and parents fight about that. That's why it's important to see videos about their lives. Even though they're disabled, there's things that they can do.
Benjamin has just landed a job as an intern at New York City's mayor's office for people with disabilities. Ben and his supervisor, Jonathan Novick, produce films to highlight people with disabilities who work for the municipality.
Ben's a lot of things. Ben is positive. Ben is friendly. He brings this very high level of energy and enthusiasm into his work.
I work here as cameraman and editor. I travel with Jonathan Novick, and together we meet people with different disabilities, and I do the recording on camera while Jonathan Novick does the interview.
Randy Washington, who's working with Ben, helps keep him focused and on track. Watching films is one of Ben's favorite things in life, and Randy is really impressed with Ben's encyclopedic knowledge.
It's amazing the stuff he remembers from the movies, and he's hardworking. When given a task, wants to complete that task. I guess it would be he's a perfectionist.
Recently, Ben contacted the United Nations and was invited to visit the organization. Today, he's going to interview the Secretary General, Ban Ki-moon. Ben could have never imagined that one day he would have the opportunity to discuss with the UN Secretary General the pressing issues that affect billions of people worldwide.
Last December in Paris, the world leaders came and showed their commitment to keep global temperature rise below 2 degrees, if possible 1.5 degrees. Under this agreement,